بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله تعالى به الغمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين ثم أما بعد قال عز وجل بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعاشروهن بالمعروف فإن كرهتموهن فعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا ويجعل الله فيه خيرا كثيرا وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم خيركم خيركم لأهله وأنا خيركم لأهلي أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ويقول الله تبارك وتعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Respected brothers and elders and young friends, if anybody looks for success in anything other than what Allah Ta'ala has decreed, or which Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has stipulated, then there's a possibility that that person may make a mistake. If you want to tread life in such a way where you don't make any mistake whatsoever, and whatever you do there'll be khair, barakah, blessing and benefit, then undoubtedly you have to tread the path of what Allah likes and to abstain from that thing which Allah Ta'ala dislikes. This is something which as Muslims, if we hold on to this properly, you will benefit not only in this world, but also in the hereafter as well. Our sole success is based upon this. As Muslims, we need to reassure ourselves time and time again and remind ourselves that the only success for the mu'min and the believer is that we completely bring alive in our life the deen of Allah. It sounds like an easy task, but there's so many things that we need to bring into our life in order for us to claim that we're acting upon complete deen and whole 100% deen. One of the things which Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had repeatedly emphasized within the ahadith, as well as Allah Ta'ala having mentioned in the glorious Quran, was that Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala encouraged us, emphasized, and ordered us to have good relation with our spouses. Particularly the verse mentioned in Surah An-Nisa, Allah Ta'ala mentions وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Treat them with good accord and treat them kindly. عَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. According to what is good, treat them accordingly to what is good. فَإِنْ كَرِهْتُمُوهُنَّ فَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُوا شَيْئًا وَيَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. If there's something of your spouse which you dislike, if there's something of your wife that you dislike, and obviously for the sister this is a flip side for her as well, if there's something for her that she dislikes about her husband as well, but translating, looking at the verse, because the verse is specifically talking to men in regards to their women, فَإِنْ كَرِهْتُمُوهُنَّ فَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُوا شَيْئًا وَيَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. If there's something that you dislike, if there's something that you don't really particularly like, remember one thing, it's possible that you are disliking that thing wherein Allah has put a lot of khair in and a lot of good in. Ibn Kathir rahmatullahi alayhi, the scholar of tafsir, had mentioned that even though, for example, there are things which we may not particularly like about our spouse, some things which kind of get on the wrong side of us, but the fact is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless her with children and offspring, and mashallah, our nasl and our family name will carry on, and we will have the benefit of being around our children and so on. What a great ni'mah and a great blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And only when a blessing is lost, that's when we appreciate what that blessing is. When we appreciate, sometimes we take for granted those things which we have around us, and we sometimes tend to, Allah forbid, take for granted, we forget that. And okay, I'll give you by way of a quote what someone actually said. Famous inventor of the past in the 1700s, don't need to mention his name because we have hadiths to substantiate the claim. But nevertheless, he mentioned that one very, very beautiful thing, and it's a very, very nice saying. And he mentioned that we tend to forget that happiness. We tend to forget that happiness is not built upon acquiring and getting those things which you don't have. Listen to this very carefully. Success and happiness is not that thing where you get that which you don't have. Success and happiness is that thing where you appreciate those things which you do have. When you appreciate what you have, subhanAllah, there are people less fortunate than yourselves. People that are more worse off than yourselves. People who, if you look at yourself and you think, subhanAllah, well, I've got a perfectly functioning body, or there's someone who I know, maybe that is unfortunate, that doesn't have a leg, who doesn't have an arm. Their body is intact, but their mind isn't working properly. Maybe they're mentally disabled or physically ill. So we should thank Allah on all the blessings which He gives us. Look at the good which we've got, and don't always ponder over the bad and always on the negatives. Our society is such that we always like to highlight those things which are negative. We like to pick out flaws. Oh no, you know what? Everything is good. Everything is good. But you see, this I don't like. That I don't like. Pick holes. Pick flaws. Look for deficiencies within the people. Look for deficiencies within everything which we possibly can. Discard the 99 good, and we look at the one bad and say, no, there's that one sifat and one quality in that pizza that ain't ready to, that ain't going down. That's wrong. But then he's got 99 good. And this is what we've been ordered to do. Look at the khubi, the khair. Look at the goodness within people. Look at the goodness that people generate, and look at the goodness that people have. As much as possible, don't look, and even if you do find a negative trait, a bad quality, something which you may not necessarily like, we're not supposed to look down at the individual, we have to look at bad at the sin, not the person. If you find something you don't like, if I see a Muslim person, for example, and God forbid he was drinking alcohol, do I hate that person now? No. I dislike alcohol because minus that from that person's life, and he's a good individual. Minus this act of lying, and this person is a good individual. Minus this act of we can give multiple examples. I don't need to give you multiple examples to understand. We, mashallah, rational, cognitive, mashallah, we have skills in our minds. We can put two and two together for ourselves. But unfortunately, we're driven in such a consumerist society. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be spot on. And sometimes, subhanAllah, we take things for granted and we don't appreciate the things which Allah Ta'ala which has afforded us on such a scale, Allahu Akbar. And sometimes we even make na qadri and na shukri, and we are despondent, or rather we don't even show thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Always looking at past negatives, this has gone wrong, that's gone wrong. Don't look at now, that subhanAllah, look what Allah Ta'ala has given me. Look what Allah has provided me. Look where I was and look where I've come. Look how far I've developed. Look what I've benefited. But to dwell on the negatives all the time, wallahi, this opens up doors of depression. This opens up doors of sadness because you're never content. You're never happy. And you always look at people above you. It always happens that when we have nothing, no wealth at all, we say, you know what, brother, if I was earning 200-300 quid a week, alhamdulillah, I'd be happy. So you do get a job earning 200-300 pound a week, and then you're looking at someone, mashallah, from a corona who earned 500, so you're saying, no, mashallah, Tambi, mashallah, salli, I need to earn more. So then you try to earn more, and then when you're earning 500, you say, no, 1,000, and then 1,000 goes to 2,000, and then that, the struggle never ends. It never ends. And then you will end up going to your qabr in your grave, leaving behind children you never spend time with, a wife who which now has become widowed. And if we didn't spend time with them in terms of their deen, trust me when I say this, they will destroy your wealth in a moment of a finger snap. But let's not dwell on the negative, let's think of positives. Again, because our behan shouldn't always be so negative all the time. We should also bring out khair. But the Muslim ummah, subhanAllah, has a lot of khair in it. We've got so many good things, and wallahi, we have so many excellent things written in the Quran and Hadith, but the reality is, we need to take those out and make intibaq and bring this within our lives. Quran isn't a book to just, mashallah, beautify our bookshelves with, or to, mashallah, you have collections of books and you stare at them and say, wow, what a fantastic collection. These are words on a bit of paper. The real beauty will come when we imbibe them and bring them within ourselves. This is real beauty and real qualities. So nevertheless, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he mentioned in hadith, but I just touched on this verse. Treat your spouses with good accord. Treat them with some respect. You might find something you dislike, but Allah will bring big khair out of that. Allah will bring a lot of khair out of this. Allah will bring a lot of benefit out of this. Undoubtedly, look, two people can or will never be 100% perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. There's no such thing as two complete, perfect individuals. It's not possible. You're looking for that thing which is not here, is in Jannah. If it was perfect, you wouldn't have this in dunya. You'd have it, beg your pardon, if it was perfect, it wouldn't be in existence here. Perfection is only in the akhirah. Everyone will come with some things you don't particularly like. But it's about us controlling and making bardasht of that. And accepting that. And tolerating that. What Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he mentioned so beautifully in a hadith. He mentioned, لا يفرق مؤمن مؤمنة. Don't ever be angry. A believer should never be angry with a believing woman. You should never be hateful and anger towards her and always vexed with her and always holding what we say beef. Why? Because he mentions further, إن كره منها خلقا رضي منها آخر. If you don't like something about her, well, I'm sure there's something which you do like about her. One of the jobs which I have, alhamdulillah, when I was Imam in SLMWAC Masjid, one of the things which, wallahi, I was using the word inundated is an understatement. My phone used to ring more, so I used to ring unimaginable amounts. But one of the things which I used to get so snowed with, which was shocking, was always marital problems, issues within marriages, husband and wife issues, children with father issues, father with, with daughter, daughter with mother. It was always built around the family life. But the amount of issues which I had to deal with in terms of marital issues were many. Subhanallah, were many, many indeed. Absolutely phenomenal amount. I could say that a big chunk of that was this. I would say into three things. You'd have a big chunk which are marital problems, youth problems, and third thing, people think they have black magic done to them. Really, no joke. Third thing, people think they have black magic done on them. So they would call, everyone used to come and say, do a durood for us and do a blow on us and so on. And subhanAllah, we used to try and encourage people that, look, don't fall victim to this, read Quran and read these wazaif. We want a shortcut, quick fix. No, give me a quick tika. I want a quick injection. I want a quick fix. I want you to blow it, and as soon as I walk out that door, everything is going to be perfect again. What do you think I am exactly? Mashallah, you have that expectation of me. I'm sorry if I don't deliver. But it's that mentality and that thinking. We want everything so quick, but we're not ready to do nothing for it. I remember one person came to me and they said, look, I've got this issue. And I said, read Surah Muzammil 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the evening. If you can do better than that, read Surah Baqarah. Oh, Mawli Sahab kya bane koi shortcut. Mawla, what are you talking about? Tell us a shortcut. Well, there's no shortcut, my brother. If you want something based on our deen, I can tell you loads of mumbo jumbo and hocus pocus and grids and dialogues and say, no, our deen is not like that. Our deen is not based on amulets and this and that. You direct people to Allah. Get them to build their connection with Allah. You'll have when you understand that I can solve my own problems by talking to my Allah, you'll never go to a third person. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Anyway, that's another subject. I want to focus on this. But we used to direct people by read Surah Baqarah, read this surah, read Ayatul Kursi, read 4 Quls, and read Surah Falaq and Nas, and go according to the deen. Oh, maybe give us something short and easy. It doesn't work that so simple. And likewise in a marriage as well. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. There's no such thing as perfectly happy couples. You have couples that accept and tolerate each other's differences. There's no such thing as a perfect spouse. There's no such thing as a perfect wife. If you're looking for that here, the only place you're going to find that, my brother, no disrespect, once you close your eyes, maybe in the akhirah you'll find perfection, but not here. But one thing which I do find quite ironic. We, as men folk, and we'll be honest with this, we're not going to shy away. When we look for a spouse, we're looking for everything of perfection, but we're not ready to do anything about ourselves. There was this one bit of nasiha where a woman gave her son. Now listen to these words. They're very, very effective and it's very true. It's not based on any hadith per se. A son went to his mum and said, Mum, what do I do to find the most perfect wife? What do I do to find the most perfect woman? She said, very easy. You yourself strive to be the perfect man. You hear what I just said? You yourself strive to be the perfect man. Obviously, there's no such thing as perfect, so don't quote me and say, I just quoted it. This is not a hadith, by the way. This is a saying someone said, and it goes around in circulation, but we can draw a sabak from this. Okay, if you want something good, well, firstly, be good yourself. There's no point a person, for example, now, I saw this on the sticker on someone's car. Don't blame the traffic if you're already in your car. Do you understand that? Don't blame the traffic if you're part of the problem. You're traffic, right? Or do you always cars on the road? Well, how did you saw that? You saw that traffic. You was part of the problem as well. No, it's not my fault. Look at all these cars. No, they're saying the same thing to you. You're part of the problem as well. So we have to understand, subhanAllah, many things obviously which we need to smoothen our edges on. But one thing particularly is that we want perfection in others, but we don't want to see perfection within ourselves. If we learn how to smoothen our rough edges, wallahi, family life will become so much more better. Naturally, we've all got our wrongs, we've all got our weaknesses, and this is what Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he mentioned. Okay, look, don't treat her harshly, don't be horrible to her, and this hadith can apply from men to women and women to men. Okay, treat each other with a level of respect. Do you know why? It's because if you don't like something, I'm sure you do like something in that person. And this is what I advise, and I'm going to share this with you. And subhanAllah, I'm not, like I said, this is not therapy room, and no, we're very, very far from that. But if a person is having real ups and downs with their spouse, they should really sit down and think and be honest with themselves. The one big task is being honest with yourself and admitting if you think there is a problem, and to accept feedback from your spouse. If your spouse, I'm using the word spouse, I should use the word wife, because when I use the word spouse, it's generic for husband to wife and wife to husband. We should be ready to accept negative feedback. How you give it as well is also key. So if your wife said to you, do you know what, you answered, you know what, I tried to explain and you always interrupt me. You never give me a chance to speak. And you say, no, don't, I'm not like that. No way, you're going to deny it. Well, denial doesn't help anybody. Take out and think to yourself, then really assess this, if you really want to make your marriage work. Because the thing is, our strength and our society, wallahi, is built on this thing. As in comparison, when it's not an us and them, so don't start getting all excited. But wallahi, I can say this, that we still, alhamdulillah, as Muslims, have a very, very good, strong family unit. Alhamdulillah. It's still very common, but we have to be very careful, because living, obviously, living in places where the ideas are not so Islamic, things and ideas will come in our minds. Okay, why should I do that for? Why do I have to put up with that for? Why should I be like that? Now, don't get me wrong, living in UK, there's 101 really good benefits. But there are some things which you and I, if we've grown up with an Islamic idea in our minds, especially when it comes to family, you will find that at times we're living in a society which can be very self-centered. It's always built around what I want. It's me. I have to fulfill, what I want. It's all about me and myself and I. It's about me. And then it's others. And this mentality, unfortunately, is throughout the whole of society. Look at our neighbour system. Now, I'm not going to say look back home, because for a lot of you, home is here, right? Think to yourself, if you've experienced living in a foreign country or another country, how is your connection with your neighbours? MashaAllah, sometimes food plates will come backwards and forwards. If there's any fault, we will go around make ta'aziyah of sorts, and go and show our condolences and so on. And if there's any happiness, we would send a card, maybe a box of ladoos or something, or I don't know, not ladoo in particularly, but anything just to express our happiness as well. Whereas here, the most generally conversation we have is, you see them, oh, how you doing? Oh, it's nice weather today. Oh, nice and sunny today. We just mention the weather, and that's our conversation. Oh, it's raining today. Did it rain? Oh, yeah. And that's the limit, that is the extent of our conversation. Many of our neighbours still don't know our first names. I'm telling you, this is not, I'm not saying anything personally. This is all of us. This is the society we live in. You don't care what's happening to your neighbour's house, so long as it doesn't affect you. So we don't know their names, we don't know anything about them, we don't know anything about anything. Because we live in our own self-contained units. It's all about me, I don't care about anybody else. And that's the society which unfortunately, and this is one thing which I say, it's very unfortunate. There are some things that, wallahi, if the British public did, this would be the best place to live on earth, undoubtedly. Because look at the huquq and the justice, whether we like to admit it or not. This is not getting public, I'm not selling out, I'm not on the BBC here, so I'm not ticking any boxes. We have to be honest, where there's khubiyah and good, we have to admit. Now, if you look at there are many good things, but this is one fabric of society which has become eroded and gone, where the ta'alluq between daughter and father and daughter and mother and son. Wallahi, it's not there. I mean, I was in hospital the other day. I went just alhamdulillah, nothing personal. I went to go and see my grandmother. May Allah give her shifa, and all, honorable and respected Muslims across the world, give them shifa. Say Ameen, inshallah. Say Ameen. So what happened is, I remember when I was crossing the zebra crossing, and there was a boy who was walking a few steps ahead. If you saw them, you wouldn't think they were together because of the distance between the two. He crosses the road, and the woman's still waiting on the sidewalk, on the path. She's not crossing the road. She's waiting for cars, and he goes, "Mum, can't you see, for God's sake, that this is a zebra crossing? You can walk." And I thought, wallahi, look how he answered to her. Look how harsh that was. Your parents may even do something to you that you get offended with, but you control your tongue. You let it go for the sake of Allah. It's not about showing who's the bigger person and the stronger person. It's okay. Forgive it for the sake of Allah. You don't always need to flex your biceps all the time. If your parent offended you, let it go for the sake of Allah. By the qasam of Allah, Allah will give you more izzah and more respect. Let it cool down, and then you can say, if you've got that connection and you know that it's not going to cause an uproar, then say, "You know what, Mum, you said this and wallahi it offended me. It's okay, but please, it really hurts me when you say this." Then they know. But at the heat of the moment, let it go. It's okay. Then, if you really are offended, with adab and with respect. If they get offended, then that's their ghalti, that's their fault. But with adab and respect, if you were to say, "Look, you said this and it really did hurt me. Wallahi it did. Please don't say, I'd appreciate it if you didn't say that because it hurts me." That's different. And then there's a heated argument going on. "Oh, Tuflana, I know you. What did you do for me? What did you do for us?" And then start this argument. That's not productive. We're taught at that time, control ourselves, control our tongues, make sabr, turn to Allah, and then, if necessity permits, then you talk about it. But when I saw this, wallah, I felt sad. And I said to my wife, because we were together, I said, look at this. I mean, I feel like saying to him, "Oh mate, don't you want to show a bit of respect to your mum? First of all, you're walking ahead of her. She's 4 steps back. You can see she's mareez because she's ill. You can, she's like dressed in like a semi-nightie and some clothes. It's cold outside. You should have been putting a jacket on your mother. And you should have been walking her with her hand across the road and showing some adab and some respect." But what does he do? He's crossing and he's walking, "Mum, come on. What adab and what respect is that? And this is why we feel sad. Our youngsters are becoming immune to these things. Because a lot of our youngsters see this. They see the connection between the family makeup of society and they can become immune to it. They think of it as normal. So answering back is the norm. Being rude is the norm. Being offensive to people is the norm. Being self-centered is the norm. I ask a lot of people and I say, when you think back of your respected home countries or home, wherever you want to call that, and you think back, some people say, "Wallahi, I used to love," even though we had less money and we weren't very well off, but we were all, one brother used to earn, 2 brothers used to earn, and 5, 6 people used to share. We used to have love and muhabbat, and we used to, mashallah, look out for one another. It wasn't the fact that you're earning 30,000 rupees, I'm only earning 20. It was a family unit. We used to work together. Well, your taqleef was my taqleef, your difficulty was my difficulty. And then what happens is, we call ourselves cultured, but then we were given British passports, and then we come and we forget about all those things which united us as a family before, just because now we have a slight bit more money than before. So money destroyed our life, it didn't benefit us. We were better off in that village in Gujar Khan or that village in, if Moulana has villages, fine. If you don't, then don't take it offensively. But we were better off abroad when there was 5 brothers, 2 brothers and a sister, 2 sisters and a brother, but we had muhabbat and love, as opposed to when we came here, we were supposed to be cultured and we were supposed to be educated and we were supposed to do better for ourselves, but yet we started fighting and arguing amongst ourselves. What was the benefit of that money? What was the benefit of those properties? What was the benefit of that life? Nothing. And this has had an effect on our family lives as well. It's had an effect on our family lives. And subhanAllah, it's just husband and wife in their own little matchbox, in their own little home. Everyone, there's no ta'alluq with outside. From morning till night, the wife is doing the same old thing. In a small knit family, mum's house is here, dad's house is, a brother and sister's house is there, auntie and uncle is there, some parashani in the home, everybody comes and visits, they take part in the family gatherings. We're living a life of pure self-centeredness, unfortunately. And this is what can happen, subhanAllah, where this is why we have to be very, very careful. We have to appreciate the family, the fabric of society which we have in terms of still, as a Muslim society, which we still have. And we should honor this and value this and appreciate this, because wallahi a time can come where this is taken away from us as well. But one of the biggest things which we have, unfortunately, are these problems between spouse and wife, husband and wife. Very, very common, subhanAllah. And one of the biggest things, I say that if you have a spouse, if you have a wife and she doesn't cook too good, or she doesn't clean too good, maybe she doesn't really do so much for you. On the flip side, a husband, he's a bit lazy, he doesn't really work, he doesn't provide too much, but his akhlaq is good, or her akhlaq is good, wallahi, a person manages. You know, they say, bardash ho jata, you don't mind, Huzara, you don't mind, it's okay. Because that person's love and that muhabbat is so intense that you don't worry about the materialistic things. If materialism has become more, that means she loves your money, she does not love you. Or the flip side, for the husband and wife, we can pull this whichever direction we want to go. But what happens here, this is why Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was instructing Mu'adh ibn Jabal, Tirmidhi Sharif Hadith, and he was saying, Mu'adh, you know, there's reading of Quran and there's fasting and there's zakat, and he was mentioning good deeds one after the other. And he said to him, do you want me to show you the greatest of all things, the top, the pinnacle point, the hierarchy, the top of the hierarchy. Do you want me to tell you? Hierarchy is my word. He mentioned to him the top of the mountain. The mountain we don't understand as much as hierarchy. He nevertheless mentioned to him, do you want me to tell you the best of all things? And then what? He went like this. Held his tongue and he said, Ya Mu'adh, kufa alayka hadha. Just keep control of this one bit of flesh. Just keep control of your tongue. And he actually did it, he goes, Mu'adh, look. And held it. The akhadha lisanahu, he actually held it and said, Mu'adh, control this. Kufa alayka hadha. Just keep control of this. If your wife isn't too good in certain things, but she's very sweet in her approach and she's got akhlaq, wallahi, you don't mind. For the flip side, for the husband as well, if the husband is a bit lousy, but yeah, he's always kind, akhlaq, bardash ho jata. But the moment we open our mouths and we cause this zakham and this wound is a wound which doesn't go away very easily. In the Arabic language, kalama means to cut. It means to cut. I don't know if anyone understands Arabic here, but from one of the shurul lughat, kalama means to cut. And the word kalam comes from the same root words meaning to cut. Why? It's because wounds have the same power of affliction. They can hurt you, they can cut you, they can cause you harm. These words can also do the same damaging effect. Just because I'm not physically beating someone up, it doesn't mean I'm not mentally disturbing and destroying them. And this is what we have in our society. I was told 1:45, guys. I don't know, I'm seeing a few people looking at their watches. It's making me feel uneasy. I'm supposed to finish in 2 minutes anyway. So what happened was, we have a society again where this is the root problem which we have as a community. Where in our society, a woman is that person that just sami'na ata'na, we just listen and obey and so on. And anything against that norm we find offense to. So what happens is you'll find a couple, unfortunately, where the husband will always try to put her down and she can't say nothing. And the moment she tries to redeem her to be begharat and losing her shame, to westernize whatever on earth that's supposed to be, and so many things it's a mutual relationship here. You're supposed to have a mutual relation, there's mutual respect. A family unit is built on mutual love and respect. If I say, I'm going to get the right, well then, what if she takes that stance as well? Constantly you'll be at loggerheads with each other, nothing will be able to be achieved in society. This is one big problem which we do have. This is one problem. We've got that family set up, but yet then there's zulm. I'm not here to, I'm not a defense, I'm not on here just to support the sisters, but if you look at the cases which I've dealt with, I would say there've been more from the man's side than they have from the women's side. Yeah, women do it as well. Don't get me wrong, women also have their bad sides as well, but yet we do find the majority of zulm in our society, in our community. I'm talking to Crawley, I'm not talking to someone outside. What I've found from here, with other cases I've dealt with, the majority have come from the man folk, less have come from the women folk. And it's this whole issue that I need to always be in charge and put my foot down and always be, subhanAllah, if we just learn to listen time to time. The Prophet ﷺ, once he was so annoyed with his spouses, he spent 1 month in the masjid. Listen to this very carefully. But never ever Did any of the Azwaj al-Mutahharat ever say, कि he swore us? Ma bain ki nagari nagari. He started to diss us and cuss us and using filthy language or obscene. Allah mafi, we're humans, it can happen. It can happen, you know, wallahi, it can happen to all of us. But then to humble yourself and say, look, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. To humble yourself, wallahi, Allah likes that. And then when you make that woman's heart happy, and when she said, I accept you as my husband, she left her home, she left her belongings, she left her family, and she took you as her husband, and you as her family, and you as her living and dying, I'm sure we can apologize time to time. It doesn't make us any less of a man, wallahi. Because we look in the Sunnah of the Rasul, he never ever minded. He was so easygoing and talking and cooperative and subhanallah. We claim to be Muslims one side, but yet these small, they're not small sunnahs, but these nitty-gritty things we don't practice upon ourselves. Like I said, this is a very long topic. This is a problem which we have in our society, which as a whole, there are many things, many angles which we can talk about this from. I mean, I haven't even started talking about some of the things at home which we need to fix up on. Like, for example, less use of social media, more quality time as a family, ta'aleem at home, Allahu Akbar, spending time. Families sit there and watch the new released film or the latest program on the TV, the Bollywood and Badani ZTV and Allah ka shukr, I don't have this garbage in my house, alhamdulillah. You know, some things, some makruhat, darje ki cheezein bardash ho jati hai, but opening, just sit there as family and wasting time, hour upon hour, watching other people's lives, drooling, wishing I had that house, I had that car, I was them. Allahu Akbar, appreciate what you have, my brother. Appreciate what you have around yourself. Start ta'aleem within the home. Many people have a breakup, they have money, cars, everything. The one thing which they didn't have spirituality within their home. Woman, international holiday. Wallahi, I can't give you pinpoint examples because we're in a small community. I've never ever come across a marriage where the woman said, very few, he hasn't got enough money, on that basis I want to break up from the marriage. It's always been akhlaq issues. Whenever there's been a beef, arguing, fighting, these issues, whereas if we were to just control ourselves, control our anger, control our tongues, wallahi, our houses will become Jannah here as well as Akhirah. So may Allah Ta'ala give us tawfiq to make amal and practice on whatever has been mentioned. May Allah inspire us and give us the ability to imbibe and bring within us. Like I said, Islam is not a religion where you pray 5 times namaz and you go home and say, alhamdulillah, we've done plenty, mashallah. We're on borderline Sahaba. No, it's a whole life. Bring everything within your life. There's so much to bring within our lives. So much. So may Allah Ta'ala inspire us to be able to practice and bring, these mubarak qualities within our life. Whatever has been good has come solely from Allah Ta'ala. Any bad and any evil was only from ourselves. A humble request before we start, the khutbah and salah. Please come close. Any gaps you see filled, many brothers are outside. Take this opportunity to bridge the gaps and try and come close. The adhan will take place. While that happens, everyone is requested to come forward. Jazakumullah. وأشكره على أن جعل ما على الأرض زينة لها وسكنها بالجبال الأوتاد. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وهو الكريم الجواد وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمد عبده ورسوله سيد كل حاضر وباد. أما بعد أيها الناس، تفكروا في تقلب الدهور وتصرف العصور. أين الآباء والأبناء والأحفاد؟ أين الأحباب والأقران والأجداد؟ أين فرعون؟ أين هامان؟ أين قارون؟ أين نمرود؟ أين شداد؟ أين الذين جابوا الصخرة بالواد؟ أين الذين عذبوا عباد الله بالأوداد؟ أين الذين طغوا في البلاد فأكثروا فيها الفساد؟ أفناهم كر الليالي والأيام وأهلكهم دور السبع السداد. هل تجدون منهم سوى قصصهم وأخبارهم؟ هل بقي شيء من آثارهم والأجناد؟ فتنبهوا من سنة الغفلة واخشوا يوم تقوم قيامتكم الصغرى والكبرى ويحاسب فيه جميع العباد، ولا تغتروا ببقاء الدنيا وزينتها كما اغتر بها من كان قبلكم فهلكوا واستحقوا البعاد. أتظنون أنكم فيها خالدون؟ أما قرع سمعكم ما قال ربكم لنبيكم إنك ميت وإنهم ميتون؟ أما علمتم أن ربكم لبالمرصاد؟ فعليكم بامتثال أوامر الله والانزجار عما نهى الله عنه وبالتزام كثرة الأذكار والأوراد، فمن دامت لسانه رطبة بذكر الله فاز بالدرجة العلية. وادعوا الله في كل بكرة وعشية فإنه مخل عباده، واستغفروه في كل لمحة فإن مولاكم كريم لطيف عفو جواد. واغتنموا صحتكم قبل سقمكم، وشبابكم قبل هرمكم، وغناءكم قبل فقركم، وعافيتكم قبل ابتلائكم، وحياتكم قبل موتكم، لئلا تقولوا ليتنا نرجع إلى الدنيا فنعمل فيها أحسن مما عملنا فيقال لكم الآن وقد عصيتم قبل وكنتم من أرباب الفساد. واجتهدوا في ابتغاء مرضات الله حق الاجتهاد، فإن المسلم من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده، والمهاجر من هاجر ما نهى الله عنه، والمجاهد من جاهد نفسه حق الجهاد. وتجنبوا التدابر والتنافر والتنافس والتباغض وحب الجاه والمال وانقياد أرباب الضلال والجدل والحدل والخطل والزلل والعناد. وعليكم بتصفية النفس الأمارة من الشوائب الرديئة، وإزالة الأوصاف الذميمة، واختيار الاقتصاد. فطوبى لمن توجه بقلبه إلى ربه وانقاد صدره لشرعه وترك ما نهى الله عنه العباد. هذا تذكرة لمن أراد أن يتذكر، وتبصر لمن أراد أن يتبصر، وهداية لمن سلك سبيل الرشاد. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين، وأفوض أمري إلى الله، إن الله بصير بالعباد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ويقول الذين كفروا لولا أنزل عليه آية من ربه إنما أنت منذر ولكل قوم هاد. الحمد لله العلي الأكبر، لا راد لما قضاه ولا دافع لما قدر. أحمده حمدا كثيرا وأشكره شكرا كبيرا، ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه عما صدر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده صاحب القوى والقدر، وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه وأتباعه صلاة دائمة بدوام الشمس والقمر، خصوصا منهم على أول الخلفاء بالتحقيق رفيقه في الغار بالتصديق أمير المؤمنين إمام المسلمين سيدنا أبي بكر الصديق رضي الله تعالى عنه، وعلى ثاني الخلفاء رأس الأتقياء أمير المؤمنين إمام المتقين سيدنا عمر فاز بالحظ الأوفر، وعلى ثالث الخلفاء سيد أرباب الحياء أمير المؤمنين إمام الأكرمين سيدنا عثمان ذي النور الأنور نور الله ضريح نوره بالنور الأزهر، وعلى رابع الخلفاء أسد الله في معرفة الآراء أمير المؤمنين إمام الأشجعين سيدنا علي بن أبي طالب رضي الله تعالى عنه، وعلى إمامين الهمامين السعيدين الشهيدين سيدنا الحسن وسيدنا الحسين رضي الله تعالى عنهما. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات، إنك مجيب الدعوات ورافع الدرجات، إنك أنت القدير الأكبر. اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم، واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا منهم، ونجنا من حسرات الأرض الأكبر. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم أجرنا من النار، اللهم أجرنا من النار، اللهم أجرنا من النار. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم لا مانع لما أعطيت ولا معطي لما منعت ولا ينفع ذا الجد منك الجد. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر. اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وأعز وأجل وأهم وأقوى وأكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.